Here is the part 2 of my story. The old storage room was cold and smelled faintly of mold. Lyra flicked on a battery lamp, tossed her bag onto a metal table, and pulled off her gloves. "Sit," she ordered. I sat. She tore my shirt open, whistled softly, and examined the wound. "Rifle round," she said. "Close range. You pissed off someone disciplined." "That's polite," I muttered. She pulled out tweezers and alcohol. "This will hurt." Everything hurt already. But I nodded. She dug the metal tips into my shoulder. Pain exploded white behind my eyes. My jaw locked. My breath stopped. "That's it," she murmured. "Stay with me, Thatch." After agonizing seconds, she dropped a small piece of mangled metal into a tray. "Got the fragment," she said. "You're lucky nothing vital hit." I exhaled a breath that tasted like agony and rust. But the pain helped me focus. Helped me remember his face. Lyra started stitching, fast and brutal. "So," she said, "you gonna tell me who did this?" "The same man who murdered my family." She paused, thread halfway through skin. "You found one. He found me." She finished the last stitch and leaned back. "You're shaking," she said. "That's either adrenaline shock or rage. Knowing you? Probably all three." I didn't respond. Lyra cleaned her hands, then sat on a crate across from me. "Tell me what happened." I told her everything. Devlin, the attack on the motel, the man in the coat, his voice, his movements, his precision, the way he tried to finish the job from Hillcrest. Lyra listened silently, her eyes narrowing in sections, like she was filing everything internally. When I was done, she exhaled through her nose. "Describe him," she said. I did. Slowly. Carefully. Every detail I could remember, even the parts that pained me to force out. She didn't move until I finished. Then she said something that stopped the room cold. "I know who he is." My heart slammed once against my ribs. "You what?" "I've patched men like him," she said. "Not him specifically, his type." "Which type is that?" She looked up at me with eyes that had seen far too much. "The kind governments create officially and disavow privately." I frowned. "Special forces?" "Deeper." "Black ops?" "Darker." I swallowed. "Name?" She hesitated, rare for her. Then she finally said, "His name is Dane Helvik." The name hit the air with the weight of a crowbar. Dane Helvik. It sounded like a myth spoken in a language that no longer wanted to exist. Lyra continued. "Helvik is a contractor now. Works for the highest bidder. Cartels, politicians, corporate ghosts. If you saw him, it means you got on the wrong list." A sick heat flooded my gut. "He was hired to kill me." She nodded. "And my family." Silence. Long, heavy, suffocating. I leaned forward. "I need to find him." "You don't find Dane Helvik," she said quietly. "You survive him." "Lyra, I'm going after him." "Then you're dead." "I've been dead since Hillcrest." She studied me. Not like a doctor. Not like a friend. Like someone trying to guess if she was stitching up a man or a weapon. Finally, she sighed and stood. "I'll help you," she said. "But on one condition." "What?" "You listen to me when I tell you someone's too dangerous." "And Dane Helvik." She leaned closer. "He's not just dangerous. He's extinction." "Good," I said. "Because I'm going to make him extinct first." Her lips tightened. "You'll need intel. And someone like Helvik leaves traces only in the underworld." "Where do we start?" I asked. She grabbed her bag and slung it over her shoulder. "With a ghost," she said. "Someone who knows Helvik's clients." "Who?" "A trafficker who calls himself the Lantern." "And where do we find him?" She threw me a look that made my spine feel colder than the concrete beneath us. "In the place where every dead secret in this city begins," she said. "Blackgrave Harbor." Blackgrave Harbor never slept. It tossed and turned, muttering threats through rusted cranes and groaning docks, always smelling of diesel, dead fish, and the kind of quiet that made decent people turn their collars up and walk faster. Lyra parked her motorcycle 2 blocks away. The harbor wasn't the kind of place you rolled into openly unless you wanted to disappear into a shipping container and never get out. "This place is crawling with lookouts," she murmured, scanning the roofs, "and most of them are hopped on enough crank to think they're immortal." "That makes 2 of us," I said. She shot me a side glance. "You aren't immortal, Ronan. Just desperate. Desperation works. Or it gets you killed." Her tone held an edge, but she didn't push it. She handed me a small earpiece. "If we get separated, whisper once. If you whisper twice, I run." "Run?" "Yes," she said. "Because if you whisper twice, it means you're standing in front of something neither of us can handle." Like Dane Helvig. Her jaw flexed. Exactly. We moved toward the waterfront, sticking to the shadows between stacked containers tagged with gang symbols, foreign shipping codes, and old warnings nobody cared about anymore. Fog rolled in from the bay, low and thick, turning every silhouette into a threat. As we neared Pier 19, I spotted movement, 2 men guarding a small metal door beneath a crane. Both armed, both scanning the fog for trouble. The lantern uses that door? I whispered. She nodded. His sanctum. You make him sound mystical. He thinks he is, she muttered. He calls himself the lantern because he illuminates the shadows of commerce. That's the dumbest thing I've heard all week. You haven't met him yet. We crouched behind a crate, watching the guards. What's the plan? Lyra asked. We walk in. She blinked. Walk. In. Yeah. You're still bleeding through your shirt. Bleeding gives me personality. Ronan. Trust me, I said. She didn't trust me, but she followed anyway. We stepped out from behind the crate, moving straight toward the guards. The first one spotted us immediately, gun rising. Stop right there. Relax, I said, raising my hands. We're here for business. They looked at each other, then at Lyra, then back to me. You think you can just stroll into the lantern's place? I don't think, I said. I know. The second guard snorted. You got a death wish, old man? I stepped closer so the fog parted enough for them to see my face. Their eyes widened. The swollen jaw. The bruises. The stitched shoulder. The hollow look of someone who'd crawled back from a grave. You see this? I said quietly. This is what happens when I'm having a bad week. Do you really want to see me on a worse one? The first guard hesitated. Boss said no walk-ins. Lyra leaned in slightly. Let me guess. He also said don't let anyone dangerous slip past you. The guard narrowed his eyes. Who says you two are dangerous? I held up my badge. Former cop, I said. Pissed off widower. On a warpath. A slow understanding dawned across their faces. Then the first guard said, Ah, you're that guy. The other one nodded with empathy I didn't ask for. The Hillcrest one. I said nothing. But grief doesn't need confirmation to be recognized. Fine, the first guard said, opening the door. Don't say we didn't warn you. Inside was a narrow metal staircase leading down, below the pier, beneath the waterline, where the air smelled of mold and stale whiskey. We descended into a cavernous room filled with hanging lanterns. Real lanterns. Hundreds of them. Some lit. Some dim. Some flickering. The walls were lined with shelves full of documents, ledgers, files, and hard drives. A library of criminal business. A man sat at a desk beneath the largest lantern, his face lit unevenly. Tall. Pale. Wearing a coat embroidered with golden thread. A shaved head, save for a narrow braid tied behind his ear. Fingers covered in rings. A smile that said he'd sold pieces of his soul long ago and didn't miss them. The famous Ronan Thatch, he said, rising from his chair. Come to chase ghosts. I'm chasing one ghost, I said. Lyra added, we need information. Everyone needs information, he mused. But the question is, what are you willing to give for it? Names, I said. Locations. Helvig's employer. The lantern's smile froze just slightly. Enough for me to know I'd struck something heavy. He walked slowly around us, circling like a man admiring artwork he wasn't sure he liked. Dane Helvig is a storm, he murmured. A hurricane bred in secrecy. Men who chase him are removed quietly. I'm not chasing him, I said. I'm dragging him into the light. He paused behind me and leaned in close enough that I smelled cardamom on his breath. And why, Mr. Thatch, would I help you die? Lyra shot me a warning look. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a single object. A thumb drive. I tossed it onto his desk. What's this? He asked. Your insurance policy. He plugged it into his laptop. Brows lifted. This is police evidence. Correct. And it incriminates your mayor, 2 councilmen, and a federal liaison in a trafficking ring. Correct again. You stole it. No, I said. I protected it. The lantern turned, studying me more carefully. And you're giving it to me? No, I said. I'm trading it. He leaned against the desk, crossing his arms. For what? Helvig, I said. Everything you know. Silence. Then the lantern exhaled, long and slow. You make interesting trades, Mr. Thatch. I make necessary ones. He tapped his fingers on the desk, thinking. Finally, he said. Very well. I will tell you who hired Dane Helvig. Lyra stiffened beside me. The lantern lifted a small leather notebook and flipped through it. According to my record, he murmured, trailing his fingers along the page. Then he stopped, closed the book, and looked me dead in the eyes. The man who hired Dane Helvig is not a gangster. Not a rival. Not a politician. Then who? I asked. Someone closer, he said softly. Someone who should be protecting you. My pulse tightened. Say the name. The lantern leaned forward, lantern light flickering across his pale face. Your killer, he whispered, was hired by your own department. My throat closed. Lyra inhaled sharply. The lantern went on. And the man who signed the order. He tapped the notebook. Is your captain. Captain Avery Locke. My boss. My mentor. My friend. The world tilted. The lantern's voice became distant, like I was underwater. Ronan Thatch, you were never meant to survive Hillcrest. And neither was your family. Lyra grabbed my arm as my knees buckled. My mind was a kaleidoscope of betrayal, disbelief, and rage. So much rage I tasted metal. Captain Locke, the man who gave my eulogy. The man who comforted me in the hospital. The man who swore to find the monsters. The man who hired one. Lyra whispered. Ronan breathed. Stay with me. I tried, but all I could see was Locke shaking my hand the day Alara died. His eyes had been so heavy, so sympathetic, so rehearsed. The lantern stepped back, hands behind his back. You now have your truth, he said. But truth without direction is chaos. What will you do with it, Mr. Thatch? I lifted my head, jaw clenched, hands shaking, breath sharp and thin. What I always do, I said. He raised an eyebrow. And that is, finish the job I should have finished at Hillcrest. The lantern smiled knowingly. Ah, revenge. I corrected him. No, I said, standing. Retribution. The night air outside the lantern's sanctum tasted metallic, like the world had swallowed blood and was still savoring it. Fog clung to the harbor, thicker than before, swallowing the glow of the cranes and casting long, ghostly shadows across the pier. But nothing, felt as heavy as the name echoing in my skull. Captain Avery Locke. My captain. My mentor. A man I'd trusted more than most family. Helvig may have pulled the trigger that killed Alara, but Locke handed him the gun. My pulse pounded against the plates in my jaw as Lyra and I slipped back into the fog, each step crunching gravel underfoot like bones snapping. She finally broke the silence. Ronan, we need to talk about this. No. Locke isn't just some dirty cop, you know that. I said no. Listen to me, she insisted, grabbing my arm. If your own captain signed off on Helvig, that means the rot goes deeper than either of us thought. Someone above him. There's no one above him. She didn't answer, because she knew I was right. Captain Avery Locke wasn't just the head of my division. He held the keys to half the city's crime intel. He served on 3 joint task forces. He had federal ties. He managed budgets, resources, surveillance data. If he wanted someone dead, he didn't need permission. Ronan, she said again, softer this time. What are you going to do? I didn't answer, because I didn't have a plan, only a direction. Forward, toward him. Lyra sighed, running a hand through her hair. The fog curled around her like smoke from an invisible fire. Okay, fine. If you won't say it, I will. She stepped directly into my path. If Locke orchestrated the hit, then he's not working alone. I know. And if he's not alone, that means other officers, men you worked with, are likely involved. I know. Then that also means you, right now, are a walking target. I stopped. Really stopped. Because the truth in her voice cut sharper than any knife. My jaw clenched. Let them come, I said. No, she snapped. This isn't bravado. This is survival. She placed a hand on my chest, firm, steady. You don't get to die yet, Ronan. Not until you bury the man who buried your wife. The words settled into the cracks of my rage, anchoring me. Finally, I whispered. Then let's start digging. We made it back to her motorcycle. Lyra scanned the area, checking rooftops, alley corners, reflective surfaces. She was as cautious as a veteran thief casing a bank. I'll take the back route, she said. Fewer cameras. Cameras won't matter. Locke sees everything. Exactly why we need to be smart. She tossed me a helmet. I caught it and hesitated. Lyra. No, she said flatly. Whatever you're about to say, save it. You're not walking into this alone. I slid the helmet on. The truth was, I didn't want her coming. Not because she wasn't capable, she was one of the sharpest people I knew, but because what I was walking toward wasn't a fight. It was an execution. Mine. Or Locke's. There wouldn't be a third option. The engine growled to life, vibrating beneath us. Fog swallowed the road ahead as she revved the bike, and we shot off into the night. As we cut across the city, Redwood Heights transformed, a living map of everything wrong with America in microcosm. Glass towers in the financial district standing proud like clean bones. Then the factory ruins near South Bend, filled with squatters and addicts. Then the underbelly, where the neon lights lied and the streets didn't. We rode deeper, toward the west side, my side. The place where I'd once believed we could turn the tide. Patrol had been different then. Cleaner. Simpler. Or maybe I'd just been naive. Pain ripped along my jaw as we hit a bump. I gritted my teeth, tasting blood. Lyra noticed. You okay? No. You want to stop? No. She didn't ask again. When we reached my apartment, we found the front door cracked open. Lyra's hand immediately went to her sidearm. Stay behind me, she whispered. I didn't. We stepped inside. The living room lights were off. Street light leaked through the window, casting dull amber rectangles across the carpet. Everything looked normal. Too normal. That's when I saw the envelope on the coffee table. My name written across it in familiar handwriting. Lyra checked the rooms quickly while I approached the letter like it was a coiled snake. I picked it up, tore the seal, and unfolded the paper. It was short. So short it felt insulting. Ronan, I'm sorry about Alara. Truly. But you were getting too close. We'll talk soon. Somewhere private. Until then, stop digging. It won't end well for you. Avery. My hand trembled. Not from fear. From wrath. Pure, molten arterial wrath. Lyra returned, holstering her pistol. Nothing here. Whoever left this is long gone. She nodded at the letter. What is it? I handed it to her. As she read, her eyes hardened like drying concrete. He's taunting you. Yeah. And he walked into your home to do it. Yeah. That means he knows exactly where you sleep, when you're gone, how to get in, and what you're planning next. Yeah. She folded the letter slowly. Then, with a controlled fury I rarely saw in her, she said, Then we hit him first. I looked up. Lyra wasn't just angry. She was determined. Invested. I realized something then. This wasn't about favor or loyalty anymore. This was personal for her too. You have a plan? I asked. She nodded. Locke is careful. Calculated. He never leaves fingerprints, never uses department channels for dirty work. But he does have one weakness. Which is? His ego. I frowned. Locke. Yes. He's meticulous, but he thinks he's smarter than everyone. Untouchable. That makes him sloppy in exactly one place. And where's that? She leaned against the wall, arms crossed. His private safe house. The one none of you cops know about. My brow furrowed. How do you know about it? Because he used to use it for something else, she said. Something I never told your division about. What? She looked away. Jaw tight. Eyes haunted. Confidential informants, she murmured. Ones who didn't always make it back out. The room went silent. Locke. Torture? Interrogations too dirty even for the department? It made sense. Too much sense. He'll go there, she said. To regroup. To hide. To plan your removal. Where is it? In the old Staghorn district. The abandoned rail yard. She looked back at me. And if we go there, Ronan, there's no turning back. Good. I didn't want to turn back. Not anymore. I grabbed my coat and checked my weapon, ignoring the strain in my shoulder and the pulsing burn in my jaw. Let's finish this, I said. Lyra nodded once. Then let's go hunt a captain. The Staghorn district was exactly the kind of place people whispered about, but never visited. Rusted tracks snaked across the ground like veins, abandoned railcars leaned on each other for support, and the remnants of warehouses smelled of soot, oil, and decay. Fog clung to the ground, turning the shadows into monsters that didn't exist until you met them. I parked 2 blocks away. Lyra's motorcycle growled behind me. We didn't talk. There was no need. Every step, every heartbeat, reminded me of the stakes. Locke's safe house wasn't marked. No signs. No cameras visible from the street. Just a warehouse bigger than 2 city blocks, doors reinforced with steel, windows blacked out. This is it, Lyra said softly. Once we go in, there's no coming back. Not if Locke's expecting us. I checked my Glock, then my shoulder. Pain throbbed in waves, but I welcomed it. Pain kept me alive. Pain kept me focused. Pain reminded me that Alara's life had a price, and someone was about to pay. Ready, Lyra whispered. Born ready, I said. We moved through the fog like ghosts. Silent. Predatory. Every shadow a potential threat. Every whisper of wind a warning. The warehouse door groaned as I forced it open. Rust scraped against steel. Inside, darkness swallowed the space. But the smell, burning wood, cheap whiskey, and something metallic, told me people had been here recently. Too recently. Lyra flicked on a small tactical flashlight. Its beam cut through the blackness in narrow lines, revealing crates stacked like tombstones. Shadows danced across the walls, as if the building itself was alive. "Locke knows we're coming," she muttered. "This isn't casual." I nodded. "Then let's make it quick." We moved deeper. Then we saw him. A silhouette at the far end of the warehouse. Tall. Broad. Hands behind his back. Calm. Avery Locke. He didn't move when we entered. Didn't even acknowledge the sound of the door or our footsteps. "Ronan," he said finally. His voice echoed, soft but heavy, like a trap springing shut. "I wondered how long it would take you to figure it out." I felt anger rise in my chest, hot and sharp. "You killed her." "I signed off on it," he said, almost casually. "I never pulled the trigger. That responsibility was delegated." "Delegated?" I spat. "You call Alara's death a delegated task?" Locke's lips curved into a faint smile. "Business, Ronan. It's all business. You know that." I drew my gun slowly. He didn't flinch. "Business?" I said. "You call murder betrayal, lying to your own officers business?" "Yes," he said simply. "And now you're here. Alone. Bleeding. And angry. Just like I hoped." Lyra stepped forward, her pistol trained on him. "You're done, Locke. This ends tonight." He chuckled. "You think you can end me? You're still a cop in your head. Rules, codes, morality. All useless here. In my world, Thatch. I make the rules." Then the warehouse exploded into action. Locke lunged toward a concealed panel in the wall. Hidden compartments opened, armed men spilling out from behind crates. They wore dark uniforms, tactical gear, guns raised. "Surprised?" Locke asked. Calm. Mocking. I returned fire, instinct overriding thought. Lyra covered my flank, precise and deadly. Bullets shredded crates, ricocheting around us. Sparks flew. Smoke thickened. The smell of gunpowder burned my throat. I ducked behind a crate, heart hammering. Locke's men advanced methodically, covering each other like a well-oiled machine. Professional. Disciplined. Deadly. I knew I was outnumbered. But I didn't care. I wasn't here to survive. I was here to end. Shots rang out. Shouts echoed. Orders barked. I could see Lyra taking down 2 men with surgical precision. I took a deep breath, steadied my aim, and fired. 1 down. 2 down. Adrenaline sharpened my focus, pain melting into clarity. Locke watched. Calm. Observing. Calculating. He didn't move to help his men. He didn't panic. That confidence, arrogance, would be his undoing. I rolled behind a steel crate as a bullet tore through the air where my head had been. The world narrowed. Focused on one thing, him. Locke. I could see the smirk on his face. The man who betrayed me. The man who signed Alara's death warrant. The man I'd once called a friend. He was taunting me, and I was done listening. I leapt forward, rolling across the floor, taking out a 3rd guard in one clean motion. Lyra covered me as we moved closer to Locke. He didn't flinch. He waited. "Do it, Thatch," he said. "Finish this. Become what you hate." My pulse roared. My vision tunneled. I raised the Glock and aimed. And then from above a shadow dropped, a steel beam swinging. Locke smirked. Predictable. The beam crashed, narrowly missing me, smashing into the crates behind him. Dust and splinters exploded into the air. The room was chaos. Smoke. Screams. Gunfire. Lyra yelled, "Thatch!" His right flank. I pivoted, shot another guard, felt the floor vibrate beneath another swinging beam. Locke disappeared behind smoke. He was fast. Too fast. But I'd been chasing ghosts long enough. I'd survived worse. I saw him, cornered near the far wall. The last of his men down. He raised his hands slightly. A final taunt. "Ronan, you'll have to kill me." I didn't hesitate. The shot rang out. Locke stumbled, but I kept my aim steady. Another shot. He fell. Silence followed. The warehouse smelled of smoke, gunpowder, and fear. I lowered the gun, trembling. Blood from my shoulder mixed with sweat, dripping onto the concrete. Lyra approached, checking him. "Alive," she said. "Barely." I stared. At him. The man who destroyed everything I loved. and I realized survival wasn't enough. Retribution wasn't about bullets. It was about justice. Locke looked up at me, eyes wide. Ronan, why? Because, I said slowly, deliberately. You made me what I am. He tried to speak again, but I cut him off. You failed, I whispered. And that's the only thing you could have done wrong. We left the warehouse as the first hints of dawn crept over the horizon. The city slept. Oblivious. Indifferent. But I felt heavier. Full of rage, yes. But also relief. And purpose. Helvik was still out there. Dane Helvik. The real storm. But one name down. One betrayal confronted. And the path forward was clearer than ever. I looked at Lyra. Where to next? I asked. She smirked faintly, wiping blood from her hands. Helvik's trail doesn't wait for us. Neither do I. I nodded, checking my Glock and shoulder once more. The hunt was far from over. And I was ready. Dane Helvik wasn't a ghost anymore. He was a cornered animal. And cornered animals make mistakes. Lyra and I tore through Redwood Heights as dawn split the sky, painting the city in pale streaks of gold and crimson, colors that felt too delicate for what was coming. Locke was in custody, bleeding but alive, ranting through cracked lips about how Helvik would clean up loose ends. He meant us. And he wasn't bluffing. Helvik had already gone underground. Not hiding, preparing. Pulling in the last of his muscle. Securing whatever money, weapons, and protection he needed to vanish forever. But he'd made one mistake. He'd resurfaced at Barrow Terminal, an old shipping yard on the river's edge. A place where the city forgot to look. A place where bodies could vanish in cargo crates that never got logged. A place perfect for a final stand. We parked a mile out. The rest we covered on foot, weaving through empty lots and rusted containers. The smell of river water, dirty metallic, clung to the air. Lyra checked her gear. You know he's going to be armed like a plague, she said. I'm counting on it. And you're going to hold back the kill again? No. She blinked at me. I wasn't lying. I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't pretending to be the noble cop anymore. Not with Helvik. He didn't deserve the courtesy of a courtroom. Barrow Terminal unfolded before us, a maze of steel and salt, cranes towering into the dawn. The river sloshed violently against the dock walls like it was restless too. We crept in from the west side. The first hint that Helvik's men were here came from the smell of cigarette smoke, fresh. Then the low murmur of voices. 2 guards. Easy. Lyra whispered. Left or right? Right, I said. She didn't hesitate. 2 silent shots, mine and hers. Both bodies dropped with soft thuds, swallowed by the wind. We pressed forward. I could feel something inside me changing. The closer I got to Helvik, the less my fear mattered. The less pain mattered. Every step felt like settling a balance sheet of the soul. We passed rows of stacked cargo containers. Blue, red, yellow. Some dented. Some marked with graffiti. Some sealed so tight you couldn't pry them open without industrial tools. Then we heard it. Footsteps. Dozens of them. Echoing from the central yard. We climbed a ladder attached to a container stack, rising high enough to look down. And there he was. Dane Helvik. No more blurred photos. No more whispers. No more shadows. He stood in the middle of his men, giving orders, sharp gestures, precise movements. Tall. Thick-necked. Tattoos creeping across both arms like black vines. His hair was close-cropped. His eyes cold. Calculated. The eyes of a man who'd killed before and would kill again without blinking. My pulse slowed when I saw him. Everything inside me tightened. Like my soul recognized its target. That's him, I whispered. Yeah, Lyra breathed. That's him. Helvik barked something at his men. They began loading crates into the bed of a large black truck. Weapons crates. He was leaving. We needed to act now. Thatch, Lyra said, tense. He's got at least 12 down there. Probably more inside the containers. This is suicide. Maybe. Maybe. She grabbed my arm. You want to die tonight? No, I said. But I'm not leaving without him. Lyra closed her eyes, exhaled, and I could see it in her face. She wasn't letting me go alone. Then we end this together. Together, I said. And for the first time in months, I felt the faintest ripple of something like hope. We descended quietly, circling around the far row of containers until we were close enough to smell the cologne of the nearest guard. 3 men patrolled the outer ring. 2 more stood near the truck. And Helvik was 15 yards beyond them, checking his watch. He was impatient. Good. I looked at Lyra, and she nodded. We moved. 2 quick silenced shots. 2 bodies down. No alarm yet. A third guard turned, confusion on his face. Lyra caught him with a spinning strike to the throat that dropped him instantly. But the fourth? He saw everything. Hey! My bullet caught him mid-shout. Too late. The yard erupted. Shouts. Footsteps. Guns raised. Helvik spun around, shock flashing across his face as he reached for his weapon. Thatch, he bellowed, recognition hitting like a slap. I didn't know he knew my name. Didn't care. My blood turned cold. Time slowed. His men surged toward us, forming a wall. Lyra opened fire on the left flank. I pushed right, firing deliberately, no wasted bullets. One fell. Then another. Then 2 more. Shell casings bounced across the steel floor, chiming like sick metallic rain. Helvik moved backward, using his truck for cover as he shouted orders. Fall back to the cab. Move. I knew what he was doing. He wanted to get to the driver's seat. If he reached that truck, he was gone. Forever. I wasn't letting that happen. Lyra. I shouted. Cover me. Always. I sprinted. Bullets tore the air. Sparks exploded off containers. One round grazed my arm, hot, slicing pain. Another pinged off the steel inches from my jaw. I kept running. Helvik saw me coming. His eyes widened. He drew his gun, massive, black, ugly, and fired. The shot clipped my shoulder. I stumbled but didn't fall. I fired back. Missed. We were 10 feet apart now. 5, 3. I slammed into him with all the force my body could muster. We crashed to the ground, rolling across the concrete. His gun skidded away. Mine flew from my grip. And suddenly it wasn't cops versus criminals. It was 2 animals trying to tear each other apart. He was stronger. He had weight, size, leverage. He wrapped a hand around my throat and squeezed. My vision blurred. You should have stayed dead, Thatch, he growled. His breath smelled like whiskey and rot. Your wife died fast. I'll take my time. Rage exploded inside me. I grabbed his thumb, twisted violently. He roared as the bone cracked. I used the opening to flip him, smashing his head against the ground. Say her name, I snarled. He spat blood. I punched him. Hard. Say her name. Elara, he gasped. I stopped. He said it like it was nothing. Like her life meant nothing. And something ancient, brutal, and bottomless opened inside me. I struck him again. Then again. Every blow a release of months of agony. Helvik's face was turning into pulp, but he was still fighting. His hand shot out. He grabbed a steel shard from the ground and slashed across my ribs. I shouted, stumbling back. He crawled toward a pistol lying near a fallen guard. You're done, he shouted, blood spraying from his lips. But I was faster. I dove, fingers closing around the grip of my own gun as he raised his. We aimed at each other. 2 guns. 2 killers. 2 destinies. You don't get to live, I told him. Helvik opened his mouth. I pulled the trigger. His body jerked. Collapsed. Stilled. The whole yard went silent. Lyra approached slowly, gun still raised, scanning the area. You alive? She asked. Barely. She helped me stand. Pain radiated down my side, across my jaw, through every nerve in my body. But I was standing. I walked to Helvik's corpse and stared down at him. Elara's face flashed in my mind. Her smile. Her laugh. Her warmth. It's done, I whispered. For the first time in months, the words didn't hurt. Sirens echoed in the distance, my backup finally arriving. Lyra looked at me with a strange expression. Pity. Respect. Fear. All mixed together. What now? She asked. I took a slow breath. Now there was nothing left to chase. No more ghosts. No more names. But also no more Elara. I don't know, I said truthfully. But I think I'm finally free to figure it out. We walked toward the rising sun as the authorities stormed the yard behind us. Helvik's empire was over. Locke's was next. And mine was just beginning.